Hello, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. Paul Traney here with the one and only Anna McNaught.
Hi, everyone.
Otherwise known as Anna McNaughty
Yes.
on Instagram. So happy to have you here.
Yeah, it's amazing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I'm nervous, but I think we're good.
It's always a good thing. It means you care. That's what that
Yes.
means. You can see some of your awesome work, of course, behind us. We'll get a full 3 days. We have you from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific time. But it's all Photoshop pro tips all week long. And let's not forget a big thank you to Howard for starting off at 8:30 a.m. We have, I think it's, well, kind of day 2 of the XD Daily Creative Challenge. We have you for 2 hours. Andrew's up next, still Photoshop, and then Sasha Vinogradova from 1 to 3 p.m. Not 1 to 3 p.m. What does that mean? But all day long, we're just super happy to have you here. Ash, Diego, Valder, Gladstone, John, awesome. We'd love to hear where you're reigning from. And Anna, where'd you fly in from?
I flew in from LA. It was a pretty quick flight, about 40 minutes. So.
Super easy. Just flew up, just north of you, San Francisco. And it's awesome here. Beautiful weather out these gorgeous windows, as you can see here, right? But It's a gorgeous day. You feel like you're in LA here today, by the way.
It's beautiful. It's sunny. It's kind of cold.
Yeah,
but...
don't hate us. I mean, cold. Like, people are under feet of snow. Like,
we're like ooh,
San
trees.
Francisco is awesome. Like in the wintertime, the weather is actually quite nice. So, want to know where you're coming from, and we want to give you a warm hello. We got Fort Worth in the house. Puerto Rico, it's probably warm there. Boston is probably under like a foot of snow or so.
Cold.
And thank you so much for joining us. Michael Crabtree was with us last week talking about Adobe XD UX UI. So that's super cool. Woodlands, fantastic. Hang out with us all day. We're going to do some random giveaways just because we can, and we appreciate you hanging out with us. There's also the challenge, You can just find that under the challenge tab. I'm kind of pointing it out right here, just so you know. You might be in chat, hop right over here, and we invite you to combine at least 2 images together in Photoshop to create a surreal scene, okay?
Yes.
So just take those 2 images. I think we're definitely going to learn some tips from you as you kind of do the same thing. So I love how synced this up this is. It's like we planned it or something.
I know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Look at this, being fancy.
Maybe we thought about it a little.
Yeah, we did. So you have about 90 minutes, and we will review those designs. So hopefully get your feedback, and we'll decide a winner at the end of the day, and give that winner Creative Cloud for a year as well. So as far away as Pakistan as well.
Whoa,
so cool to see
awesome.
Bilal. And Copenhagen's like dark and rainy. So thank you so much for. Hopefully you have a nice like hot tea, and you're like just watching.
And I'm over here saying it's cold, so I
It's
apologize.
cold. It's like it's 62 or something. So, anyways, this will be fun. So good to have you here. So, What is the plan? And actually, by the way, like I'll just do you a quick shout out, by the way. So just feel free, and we'll just switch to my screen real fast. Again, Anna McNaughty, which is like the best Instagram handle like ever. But kind of check out her work. I'm just like, just kind of bragging about you because I think you produce some great work.
Thank you.
And I think correct me if I'm wrong, we might be working on one of these images or something like it. We're not going to say which one.
Yeah. Yeah, we will be working on one of them and then kind of adding to it and making it a lot cooler.
Ooh, I'm into it. So again, very gorgeous work. Feel free to follow her on Instagram and on all the social medias. But enough of me talking.
All right.
How you doing? You good?
Good.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Shake it out. You got your black coffee.
Oh yeah,
Ready
good to go.
got our fills.
Hopefully not too much coffee. I won't be here like
shaking, and we get done in like 30 minutes, right? Because you're like, like going fast. So this is cool. Jason Jones likes your work. I agree.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that.
Yes.
Looks like you have a couple images set up already.
Yeah, so these are the pictures we're going to be combining, and maybe you guys might have guessed from looking at my work just now what we might be making, but we're here in San Francisco, so of course, got to play with the Golden Gate Bridge, got to do something cool. I flew up here, and although this wasn't my view, airplane view of the Golden Gate Bridge would be awesome, so we can dive into that.
I'm into it. It very much inspired by where you're at.
Yeah.
Today, which is cool.
Yeah.
Into it.
All right. So should we get started?
Yeah, and I think Jan Erik brings up a good point, because it's when you just say, hey, create a surrealistic image, combining two of them together, that's pretty open-ended, but hopefully you get inspired by where you're at or where you're going, and just get to work. Like you did here.
Yeah, exactly. I always find inspiration in obviously places that I go to, dreams, like when I'm just sitting in the car thinking about random things, I'll see something and it will spark a whole idea. And I think the more you do this kind of work, the more you will see things kind of come to you,
Yeah, exactly. And think about just various principles and exercises. I think about those when I went to art school. It's play with size.
Yeah.
Play with depth. What if something really small was actually really large?
Exactly.
Or something really far away was really up close, and you start to flip things on their head, and then things tend to turn out kind of unique.
Yeah, and sometimes your greatest mistake will be your best piece, because you'll make something way too big and it's not realistic, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this opened the door to so many opportunities, and then from there your whole style could change. It's so many possibilities. So
yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I like this. So you're sitting there in first class. We fly in all our guests first class. Wink. I'm sorry. Is that bad? It was 40 minutes.
It was totally fun. It was a little plane this big.
A little plane. Everybody
10
feels
rows. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just.
So, I'm going to just go up to new canvas, and today, I guess we're talking about speeding up your workflow, and one of the things that really speeds up my workflow is using these custom presets when you open a new document. And I always do 16 by 20 because it's big enough. It's size proportionally for Instagram, but it's big enough because I like to print my work and sell it. Mm-hmm. So I know that's going to be big enough to do that. I'm not printing huge size. So
yeah, and this is interesting. So 16 by 2, that's such a good tip, by the way, because you've noticed, and hopefully you'll drop some of those Instagram tips for us. And you have it set to the orientation to portrait.
Yes.
Because the longer the images will get more exposure.
Exactly. That's one of my biggest tips that I stress so much in my courses, is that you want to be posting portrait or vertical to Instagram. I see a lot of people doing horizontal, and it's not right for the platform.
Yeah.
And the vertical image will stay on your phone screen longer, so you have a higher chance of getting likes. It's just something that's been a stat.
What is your opinion on when somebody posts a landscape, but they divide it up into a triptych? They make 3 panels.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend that, because the problem is Instagram can always change the layout. They were actually thinking of doing a 4 grid, which would ruin everything. So if you want to do that, fine, but you always are at the mercy of that 3 grid.
Okay.
So, but yeah,
a good tip. So yeah.
The scroll, though, is cool, too. I've seen people do that with, multiple images in one.
Oh.
And then you can scroll to see it, and you can set that up in Photoshop. I'm not sure how, but.
So nice.
Yeah,
we could talk about that, but that is awesome. Andrew's in the house. He runs he's a Photoshop guru, runs a Photoshop Facebook group that has 100, I think he's hitting 100,000 or something.
Amazing.
Anyways, so cool to have such sharp people joining us.
Yeah. Hey everyone, this is so cool to see you all joining. So yeah, if you set a size that you use often, then this is really good, because it will automatically populate right here as your first one. So I can always just come in, I don't have to mess with any of this, and click create.
Yeah.
All right, so
That's one thing I don't do right off the bat. I haven't set a preset in Photoshop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is helpful because then you're not like, okay, what size, what resolution, all that. So then what I'm gonna do is I already set up my folders here, but maybe you guys are just kind of planning as you go, but I'm just gonna click all these and drag them in. Let's see if it wants to behave. Okay. So I'm just clicking return to place these, and it's automatically placing them as smart objects because I always forget to use smart objects, and when we're first scaling everything, it's kind of an important thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that's also in preferences. You could always like change that if you want. If you don't want to place something as, because sometimes it gets a little annoying.
Yeah.
But definitely in this case, it takes care of all that work right up front, which is nice.
Yeah, and I usually will change them away from smart objects once I kind of get everything in place and get my layer mask figured out. But to start, sometimes it's good so we're not losing any size, because if we're scaling this, then it could get distorted and it becomes destructive editing. So
yeah, and so what is your DPI?
300.
Okay, cool.
So let's see. So what I'm doing right now is just kind of scaling my window, figuring out where I want that, and then adding. So then sometimes what I like to do is like add these pieces and lower the opacity to start to figure out where I want to place things. So I think I want the bridge there.
Michael Crabtree's commenting on how small your dock is. It is so little. She's right. It's like so teeny.
I love it.
It's adorable. It's so cute. Get down there.
The biggest problem is it always gets in the way. I click on things and then I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? So it's, tiny docks are good.
Yeah.
So you can see I'm kind of starting to get everything into the place that I want it to be. And I start with this so that I kind of have a general idea as I start compositing.
And sometimes, like, I think you know where all this is going. You're kind of, hopefully, I mean, you can always tell us, but I guess you might start with an idea that evolves into something else.
Exactly. That's something that happens all the time for me. Like in this case, I know what I'm making here, but usually I'll start with one photo. Like I might start with this airplane window and then be like, what do I want in this? Add something. And it kind of grows from there. A lot of times I don't have the idea until I'm actually working in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's cool. Mohammed's wondering where you got the images from.
So this one, my husband took this. I won't take credit for it. So he took this one on a trip home from Maine, and the sun and the clouds were just amazing. And then these three are from Adobe stock. So I love Adobe stock, not to plug Adobe here, but
How dare you?
it's amazing because I can always find what I'm looking for. I can always find like really cool, unique images that kind of like already have the dream vibe that I like. So that helps out.
Yeah.
So
do you, Jason is wondering if you sketch things out or just kind of like feel as you go?
A little bit of both. Like sometimes if I get an idea, I'll sketch things out. Or like kind of just write the idea on my phone in notes, even with words. And then sometimes though, it's just kind of like, ooh, I really want to do something with an airplane window. And so then I'll start building from there. And then kind of as I'm looking at this, like as I look at this airplane window, I might be like, oh, I want to add like a balloon guy floating on the clouds or something. And things kind of pop into my head.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do with this actually is flip the airplane and flip the mountains, because what I want to keep here is you can see that our bridge has some light coming from this direction. And so I want to keep that realistic. I don't want to have the light coming from all different directions. And that's something that's really important to note. And as a digital artist, it's important to have an understanding of photography and lighting because it helps you make more realistic composites.
Yeah. Can you do your thing? I will have you like go like 100% with that.
Oh, zoom in on it?
Yeah, just like, yeah, there we go. Something like that. There we go, so everybody
Okay.
can see it better. And I'm curious as to how you work.
Yeah.
Are you actually at home? Are you on a laptop or you have a desktop?
I have a desktop,
Okay.
but I do work my laptop sometimes when I'm on the go. So, and I work very zoomed out so I can see everything unless I'm layer masking.
Yeah, but you're also used to probably being on a bigger,
Yep, exactly.
a bigger screen.
Yeah, so true.
So if you see Anna
I'm
slowly,
gonna be
slowly
like,
disappearing, that's what's
Like,
it's like.
hi.
Okay. It's a supple way to work.
Yeah.
Rob, good to have you here, buddy. Robzilla in the house.
So I'm
Yes.
flipping this window too, so now we're getting all of our lighting going in the same direction, so that's really good. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, diving right into this, I guess, is get rid of this cloud. Even though I really love this cloud, unfortunately, it's gonna go away. So how I like to cut something out if it's kind of contrasty like this is using channels. So I'm just gonna click on channels, and then what I'm gonna do here is I'm looking for the channel with the most amount of contrast. So we can see here that the background here, the clouds and the window are like pretty similar, so that's not very good. This, we're getting a bit more contrast. This one's a lot, but we do have a lot of white, so I think I'm gonna go with green. And sometimes you'll find that you'll pick a channel and it's not quite right. But so I'm just gonna copy that and drag it down here to copy the layer. And then I'm gonna go Command L to do levels. And I'm gonna start to drag this so that our goal here is to get the window all black and this part white. So we're trying to make our layer mask essentially. And so you can see we might end up losing this side a bit, but we can always clean that up later. So I'm gonna click OK, and then I'm gonna come over to my dodge and burn tool, and I'm just gonna dodge. So you wanna have highlights and then set to 100%. So I'm gonna dodge in here and start to just make that pure white. And then what you wanna avoid is going over this side of the airplane window, because we're gonna touch that up in a second here.
Yeah, and you're just basically like really basically dodging that, like you're creating your selection area.
Exactly, like just creating like what this layer mask would look like. And this is just another great way to speed up your workflow. So now I switch to burn here, and I'm just gonna burn all this window in here.
That's kind of nice, because sometimes I would think sometimes like painting with black or something, but that's also, if you're painting with black on a layer mask, it's not aware of the layer.
Yeah, exactly.
In here, you're burning, it's aware of the content there.
Exactly.
And then you also, and you could always switch, I guess you're on highlights there, but you can also, that's also, additional kind of like refinement depending on what you want to target.
Yeah, so you could switch like midtones. I usually just use shadows at 100 and highlights at 100 because we really want to target those bright areas and those dark areas. And this will mostly work on any image that has high contrast between the foreground and the background. So that looks pretty good. We can always clean it up. So then you're just gonna go Command click on that layer to select it, go back to your layer panel, and then just add a layer mask by clicking down here. And so we can see that's inverse, and then Command I will flip it. And just like that, we have our window cut out.
That's awesome. And also, question for the group. There's a way to create the layer mask inverted. You hold down a shortcut key.
Oh, yeah,
I don't remember which one it is, but I'm sure somebody knows out there. That's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Because I always do the exact same thing you do. I layer mask, and then I invert.
Yep. I know. I know there's a shortcut key as well, and sometimes I don't actually use shortcuts because I end up forgetting them, and then trying to remember them becomes a thing. So if I just know how to do something fast, I'm gonna do that without being, trying to be cool and use my shortcuts. So
yeah, it's so.
Someone said
Shortcuts are
Control
hard.
I.
Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try some of these things.
Okay,
See where I end up.
Awesome.
Alt. I bet you anything it's the Alt key. But
Yeah,
could be
it
wrong.
probably is.
Either way.
Okay, so now we got our window cut out, and so normally what I would do, I'm gonna actually wait on this, but I would just refine this layer mask and come in here and, paint out, like fix any of these little details here, and I would do that just by painting with white in this area. So you can see we would just clean that up. And I'm not gonna do that right now because I wanna show you guys some of the other techniques.
Looks like you're right. Looks like it's the Alt key. or Option key. Thank you. Ende, A-N-D-E-H, Jan Eric, Rohel, fantastic. That's always a good key if you're like unsure, just like if you want it sounds dumb when I say it, but like if you want the alternative of something, hold down the Alt key.
Yeah, so true.
But it's like just try it because it's kind of the magic button, and the more you learn about shortcuts.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely good to know. So then a couple things that I might do here is I actually want to tweak this just a hair. So I'm just going to come up to Edit, Transform, Perspective, and I just want to kind of tweak this a bit to kind of match the window. And this is just like little details that I sometimes do. Sometimes I honestly don't change things like this. But it will help to make your image look more real if you do pay attention to the perspective and the scale and everything.
I like what you're doing here because I really like this because making something realistic isn't making something look perfect. Like things are going to be askew. Like that's not a perfect horizontal line. The window isn't like perfectly, and your tendency as just people is to align things and do all that stuff. The life isn't like that.
Right, exactly,
So
exactly.
That's why that works.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of, my mask is all, or my thing's all the way up here. What's it called?
What did your thing?
My
Your
thing.
thing.
My thing's
This
all the way
little
up here.
thingamajigger. This little doohickey and like.
So
you grew up in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yep.
Do you have any? Hopefully, you say some Pennsylvania-isms if there is such a thing.
Oh man, I don't know. It's just all a bunch of weird words, like Ewans, I think, for like you all. If you
Ewans? Like you ones?
Yeah, like a Texan would be like, oh y'all, and in Pennsylvania they say Ewans.
Ewans. You guys are crazy. Love it.
Yeah.
So Ewans out there.
Ewans.
Thanks for joining us. Ewans, humans.
And then, my dad says water for water. That's a Philadelphia thing. So
water?
Yeah.
Water.
So I don't actually say that, but I know a lot of people that do. So. Oh, the Pennsylvania tuxedo.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So
what is it?
that is a full flannel outfit. So you have a flannel shirt with flannel pants.
Oh wow, that is getting your flannel on. I had no idea.
It's pretty much the best thing ever. I mean, so comfy, like, yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome. I don't even know if I've ever seen one, but now I want to.
Dogfish Head, the beer company, actually used to make a beer called Canadian Tuxedo, or Pennsylvania Tuxedo.
Wow.
Canadians with denim, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the Canadian tuxedo. It's all denim.
So I'm kind of just doing this without talking because I'm distracted, but I'm just kind of arranging my layers here and getting things the way I want them. So I know that I want the stars in the background, so I drag them below the mountains. And then we're gonna just start to mask here. This one's pretty simple, but let's see. Okay, so what I wanna do is I wanna be on my mountain layer here, and I'm gonna add a layer mask. And then first what I'm gonna do is just get rid of this harsh line. So I'm actually, instead of cutting this out, which you could do through channels, again, because we have that nice high contrast there, you can see the mountains are really dark and the sky is really light, so we could cut that out completely. But in this case, I know that, let's go back here. I know that I kind of want some of this glow down here that's happening. So I'm just gonna really start to blend. Okay. And so what I love to do is use flow and put that on kind of a low flow. And so what flow does is it will allow you to get to this full opacity at a slower rate. So if it was at 100, it would just paint that immediately. It would paint 100%. But if I have a low flow, then without lifting my mask or without lifting my mouse, I can just continue to paint kind of slowly. So then if I brought that opacity down, then I would only ever get to that 37% opacity and paint that slowly. So that's just a really good tip when blending.
Yeah, flow is definitely nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you mess with either one of those, chances are you want to bring that flow like super low and gradually build to 100% transparency.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something you guys might know already, but it's just a great reminder for painting and blending. So I'm just kind of doing this roughly here and just kind of blending out that harsh line and the sky and getting it kind of how I want it here.
Ryan Ford, thanks for joining us. If you are just joining us, I'm here with the one and only Anna McNaught, or Anna McNaughty, as she's known on Instagram. Sorry, that's going to be your name for the next 3 days.
I'm cool with it.
And again, we're doing Photoshop compositing and just seeing what happens. Because I would say at this point, it's looking like this plane flew a little high. We're breaking the atmosphere.
Yep.
And in less than 5 minutes, we're also going to do just random chat and win giveaway as well. And don't forget to check out the challenge tab. It's all about Photoshop compositing, composite 2 images together, make a surrealistic scene like what you see here. You get the idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anything goes, really.
Yeah. So yeah, this plane definitely flew pretty high. It's turning into a rocket ship.
Oh, this is awesome. And I just want to point out, like, Jamie Carney's brand new, it's one of the, his or her least used applications.
Oh,
so this
cool.
is always good to, like, cover tips. I think even the fact that you're painting two things you're doing here. You're using a smart object and you're using a layer mask.
Yeah.
Like, if you know how to do those 2 things, that's like most of Photoshop. Like, that's like how things happen.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, you could pretty much do anything if you know how to layer mask and smart objects and then the blending. I mean, I was just telling Paul earlier that I used to actually erase everything. So instead of using a layer mask, I would come in here and start erasing. And oh my God, if you guys do that, try to stop it soon because you wouldn't be able to bring something back. So you can see, like with this layer mask that I added, I was getting rid of the sky. But if I just switch back to white, then I can paint the sky back in here. So now I can kind of blend that back up if I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I kind of end up going back and forth between black and white and changing my layer mask. And if I erased, I would have to just clone stamp it or go back and get a new layer.
Which I like but I do like your confidence. It's like, let's just get rid of, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know how you're like young and arrogant, you think you know you have all the answers.
Exactly. And you guys, that was only 2 years ago. So you can see how much like things have changed for me. And so don't ever feel like you can't do this because you can.
It's okay. And you get the results you want. Hey, who's to say that that's wrong necessarily?
Yeah. Exactly.
But
so
if you can get it done faster.
Although I will tell you, if you do know you want to get rid of something, you say, I don't need this sky, I don't need this corner or whatever, go ahead and delete it because it will make your file size smaller. So that's a good tip.
Like Douchey Rock says, like once once they learned about using masking, didn't use erasers in Photoshop.
Awesome.
Which is true.
Yeah, so true. I mean, you kind of stop using the eraser altogether, I
When
think.
things get a little heavy and I just know, like if it's something on a white background, I'm okay almost like deleting that. Like I know I don't want white background.
Yeah.
I'll just delete. It doesn't matter, especially if it's really getting complex. That's the only time I end up doing it.
Totally. Someone said, I think it's a space shuttle, not a plane. Yeah, I guess we could go with that because we are pretty high up here. But
that's what you took, right? The space shuttle to get from LA to San Francisco.
Yeah, exactly. So what I did here was I just added another layer, and what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to paint some clouds and kind of get this a little bit more blended and just start working on that for now. So I have this great brush. Let's see if it's imported. It's called Smoke. I'm not sure where I got it from, but I don't know if we can share files. I do have it. I could share it. But so it has this really nice cloud shape, and I love using this guy because it blends everything. So when I'm painting, I'm just going to hold down Alt or Option, and that will sample the sky color. And again, make sure you're on a new layer here. And so then I'm just going to hold that down, sample, and just kind of start to, let's see, I'm on a low flow here. So kind of paint those clouds up a bit. Because what I wanted to do in this case was get rid of that harsh line of the layer mask, but I don't want to lose like too much of, let's see. Yeah, I don't, okay, there we go. Got to clean that up right there. So I don't want to lose too much of like those clouds because I want it to still have kind of a blended look. So I'm just masking that area out right there. Okay, so back over here, just kind of painting this to and even over the mountains a little and kind of blending it all in.
And you're just painting with like a light blue? Or
Yeah,
you're constantly sampling?
Yeah, I'm sampling the sky here from the mountain. Going on a trip.
Whoa, whoa. We're not going like, oh, what happened? What happened to our plane?
What
just happened? I just see explosions. It's okay. It's just time for Chat and Win. We're going to dive into that right now.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. We're heading into Chat and Win. Just be like, hey, if you could hop on a plane and head anywhere, where would it be? All we need you to do is say something in chat that's preferably actual words, so we know somebody is at the other end of your keyboard, and we will give you this new notebook, Moo notebook, as you can see here. I don't know if it's actually going to be blue. It might be a number of different colors, but this has lined and unlined, and there's like answers to all life's problems. But I love this part right here, by the way. So you could like lay it flat is awfully nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's
so we'll
awesome.
give that away to someone that we select at random from chat. People are saying they'd fly to LA, they'd go to Bahamas, South Africa, and Sweden would be
So
cool
many
as
places.
well. And we want to say congratulations to our winner, Andy. Andy, he or she, I don't know. I'm going to wait for the icon.
I like that
You never
spelling.
know. But Gordon, Andy Gordon, congratulations, Andy Gordon. You are our winner of this wonderful notebook.
Woo!
Yay! This beautiful notebooks we'll send to you. We'll have Gus drop it off personally.
Cool.
He's like, yeah, I want a trip out of this. Where am I going this week? That's why he's like picking some of they probably live in Sweden or Bahamas. I'll go drop this off in the Bahamas.
Yeah, personally bring it to them.
And we do, in general, have a... You can go to moo.com/Adobe Live. You can get 15% off. So if you didn't win, if you're not Andy, we do have this URL for you to get at least 15% off. And if you're doing like Anna and you're working actually at 300 DPI, you could obviously, you're print ready, so you'll be able to, have your work printed out.
Yes. I actually, another tip of something I used to do, when I wasn't working at a high DPI, I would go to print something and then it would be so pixelated, and because I worked destructively, I couldn't get anything back, so I would literally put like a blur on it to smooth the pixels, so don't be like me.
Yeah. You have some good stories.
I know, I've
these
definitely been
stories.
through the really bad Photoshop days. So.
Because you learn. That's like how you learn.
Yeah.
You learn by doing.
Yeah.
Which I love these stories because you're like never forget.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Never forget. So are we back and good to go? More learning?
More learning and doing and just watching.
Okay.
I'm just
cool.
watching.
I'm just fixing my
Happy
layer
little, you
mask
make
here.
some happy little clouds.
Happy little clouds. I don't know what I did. My layer mask is coming back in somehow.
And
so.
it's kind of, yeah.
So.
It's always tricky to remember what layer you're on.
Yeah.
Because even with layer masks, it's just a border around the layer mask when you have that selected.
Yeah.
And everybody, I think you even might have done it earlier. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think
but
I was.
I always accidentally work on the layer.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always do that, and so it's just really smart to kind of try to pay attention to that, and it tends to, if you do it, just obviously go back through your history and fix it if you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just adding these clouds here and kind of refining this, and I might spend a lot more time on this. This is something that I would kind of take my time with and go in and zoom in and start to get the details and change my brush size.
Yeah,
and,
exactly. What stroke are you using there?
let's see, what did I do? Oh, to make the brush size?
Yeah.
So I'm using the bracket keys here
Cool.
to change the size.
And just, cool. You don't even need to hold down the Alt key.
Yeah, you don't have to hold anything down, just using the brackets. So that's starting to look pretty good.
Nice hazy feel.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I might refine this more later on the live or even later on, because you can see it's kind of starting to look a bit like chunky up here. I don't know, just not very smooth. So I would kind of take some time to really blend that in. And maybe even, here's a time when I might use the eraser, is coming in with a big eraser, going back to that same brush. And again, since we're on a separate layer, we're actually gonna get rid of some of this and just, go down to a low flow, and then kind of maybe get rid of some of the stuff we painted. So just, I'm like constantly going back and forth between what I want it to look like and what I'm working on. So that's starting to look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like it. And you're lucky enough to have, I think, like, color we can work on later, but luckily enough, the stars and the clouds, the mountains all kind of goes together.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely get into color and clipping masks and changing things, because like I don't like the way this airplane window looks. I want that to kind of blend, and this is a bit too cyan here compared to the bridge. So I think I'm gonna actually use the bridge as my reference color, because I really like how that looks.
Yeah, Jason's asking if you made the clouds brush.
No, I'm not sure where I got it. It's called Smoke.
It's your go-to?
Yeah.
Smoke. Interesting.
I do have the file, though. I don't know if we can share it, but... or if anyone wants it, honestly, DM me and I'll send it to you. So
yeah, and we could probably, maybe find it out there. But I think brushes are deceiving because, like, it's called a brush. So I'm going to do a painting with it.
Yeah.
When really, I mean, you're not.
Right.
You're just like, you like, brushes are amazing.
Yeah.
That's why we actually, I think, even this Friday, we have a live stream all about brushes.
Yeah, brushes are so cool. I mean, there's so much that I don't even know with brushes, because you can make custom brushes. And then, like, I have things even like these cool trees, like,
yeah.
So you can stamp a little tree.
Look at that.
In,
That's awesome.
Like, if I had my flow up all the way, boom,
I love
trees.
the idea of these trees, like, popping up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, that's what's the magic of brushes, you can...
Yeah.
So we could have some trees coming up later, and so...
And that's a case where you're kind of using it as, like, a stamp tool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a whole bunch of trees. Like, there's little palm something. I don't know what that is.
That's perfect. That is so good.
So if you wanted, the best thing...
That looks so good. I love it.
I love it.
And there's so much mystery there, by the way, just you adding that. It's like, there's like a whole forest.
I
down
know,
there
it's kind of like these little...
Some wild beasts or something down there.
I like that. One of the best things I find with brushes is, when you layer mask something... Go away, window. When you layer mask something, like, sometimes you're not cutting out your perfect edges. Like, if there was grass, you wouldn't be cutting out each blade of grass. So you can do a quick cutout of it, layer mask over the whole grass, and then go in with a brush and, like, add your little details, so I could come back in and touch up the grass like that.
Yeah, so hopefully that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah.
Again, you have it's a grass, it's one layer of just grass.
Yeah.
Layer mask, and then you're painting by adding grass in, and it kind of reveals.
Exactly.
So I've seen a lot of people do that with hair.
Yeah,
They're
that's
cutting out hair. You can only get it so good, but you need to add in some strands.
Yep.
You'd use a hairbrush.
Yeah, I have a little hairbrush as well. Let's see where that guy is. Yep, here it is. So you can see this would be like some nice, we're layer masking, but this would be some hair that you could paint in if you did it really, really kind of soft. So yeah, like you would just chop those blades of grass off and then paint with a brush and do the same thing I was doing with the clouds, where I was sampling the color, holding down Alt and using my eyedropper to sample the color. So you would sample the color of, like, that grass or that hair and then brush on a new layer. So
very cool. And that might be a time where, like, and again, I don't use a Wacom or anything like that, but anything with pressure sensitivity, that's why I want to use a Wacom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I actually have some brushes that are just like hair, so you use it as a stamp.
Yeah, I have some of those too. They're awesome. Yeah, so you guys can see I'm just using a mouse here because my tablet pen broke. And also I tend to just honestly use a mouse, like old
there's
school.
nothing wrong with that. Like, old school, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I use a mouse too.
I know.
Like,
I mean, it's like if you learn on something and it works for you, why change it? You know.
Yeah.
So I learned like early on using a mouse before tablets were even really a thing. So.
And it's just less. And I notice half the time you're using also your touchpad too.
Yeah, I am kind of using both a bit. So what I'm gonna do now is first I'm just gonna get rid of some of these stars. You can see they're like peeking through at the bottom here. So you could either erase them or I'm just gonna like quickly layer mask them up to the mountains here just to get them out of the way. So now I'm working on this mountain cloud layer again, and just on a really low flow on my layer mask, I'm just gonna start to like blend these clouds with the Golden Gate clouds. And it's not gonna match perfectly because of our color difference, which we'll fix. So for me, this is like super therapeutic to kind of paint these clouds and just do this slowly. And some people like to do it super fast, but sometimes I'll get into it and spend hours just merging clouds and painting random things.
I like it. This is very nice, and
Yeah.
just paint us happy little clouds.
Happy
just
little clouds.
Doing some nice blending.
Add some happy trees.
I agree. And now the view does look dreamy.
Okay, so now you can see we kind of have our clouds blended in. We could really like...
And you did a great job, by the way. I think this is very important. You've picked the right photos.
Yeah, that's a huge thing too. Like if I chose something that, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but something that didn't match, then it's a lot harder to blend. And even with this mountain sky, you know, normally I might, as I mentioned in the beginning, I might cut it out because it'd be hard to blend. But in this case, because of the way things are kind of happening here, it's easy to blend that sky up.
Yeah, that's good. So good job. I mean, it's not by accident that these two match up well.
Yeah.
We obviously know clouds come in many forms, and
Yeah.
it's just all working. Ramses says it looks flawless.
Oh, thank
and
you.
might I add, Ramses, you have the coolest name ever.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I want to be a Ramses.
I know. Can we change
We
our
don't
names?
have enough Ramses out there.
Maybe
Man.
Ramses. Love it.
Very, very cool. The color is a little off between these two, but I'm sure you'll like adjust that. Like that's another thing. So
Yeah.
don't worry. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So we definitely will get into that soon. Maybe now. Should we get into color now?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
whichever way you want to go, and I think that would be good.
Cool. So first thing, what I'm gonna do is start to color this mountain layer here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come down here to the adjustment layers, and I'm going to come up to color balance. And then if you click this little guy right here, it turns it into a clipping mask, which for those of you that don't know, it basically means that it only applies to that layer, which is super key when you're editing.
Yes. I want to pause for dramatic effect there.
Okay.
Because, clipping masks are kind of a big deal.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, that was something that I didn't know about. And I have actually seen people edit where, and if you do this, no worries, we'll change it now. But I've seen where people will copy the layer and then color that and then like layer mask that layer to blend, if you know what I mean. You know, and so clipping masks are great because now you can see we're only adjusting those clouds and nothing else.
Yeah.
If we had it turned off, we'd be adjusting the whole image.
Yeah.
So this is a game changer because if you're like, I just want this one like rose or something to be color changed.
Yeah, and to just FYI, and I'll just do this super zoom, I didn't know that, I've never used that button because that makes a clipping mask out of whatever adjustment layer you might have.
Yeah, because you
showing.
can also, I guess, right click or control click and then do create clipping mask as well. So 2 ways to get there. So if you forget to turn this button on, like right now it's off, let's say it was like this, you can either open it and turn it on or you can just right click, create clipping mask.
Yeah, I like that. And somebody mentions, it says, I lost the, just press Alt Malay says that. So you can roll over the layer, and the lines between the two layers, if you hold on the Alt key, it'll make a layer mask. So that's how I usually
so how do you?
Yeah, hold on the Alt key, and then just roll over those lines in between.
Ah.
No layer mask, layer mask. So hopefully everybody sees that. Zoop.
You learn something every day.
Right. Boop.
Let's
get you back.
That's amazing. Thank you for that tip.
Yeah,
whoever said that.
Malay, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Good.
Always learning
stuff.
Shortcuts. Like I said, I'm really bad with shortcuts, so don't mind me.
Kerwin says you can press Alt and drag it down. I didn't know that either, but that seems to make sense too.
Okay, cool. So,
and that's great also, I feel like anytime you're using text and you want to put a photo inside of text, do a clipping mask.
Yeah.
Because then you can change the text, you can move the photo around, that whole thing.
Totally. So I'm going to double click on this to open that back up, and then I'm just going to start to adjust these clouds. So I know I'm in midtones here, and I know that it's a bit too cyan, so I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is red. So I'm going to just make this a little bit red, add some pink in there, because again, we're using the Golden Gate as our reference image and kind of matching that. And then I'll actually color balance the Golden Gate as well to really get everything together.
Yeah, I'm into it.
So I'm gonna go into highlights, bring those a little bit red too. Just maybe a hair. And so now we can see it's off balance again, off color, but that's okay because we're gonna change some things. So it's just kind of going back and forth to get everything to match up. So now I'm going to go to the Golden Gate and do the same thing, add a clipping mask with color balance, and I'm just going to click that little button guy again, and then add some magenta in here, little red, and start to balance that out. So you can see now it's a little bit too much actually. So yeah, I'm always back and forth. But you can see that now these match a lot better. So that's before, and we did add a little bit, and that's after. So
you definitely notice a difference.
And you can even come in here and this might be a hair too much, so you can always lower the opacity of that layer.
So good.
Yeah.
That's what I end up doing. And I feel like color is one of those things where you get so involved in it, sometimes you need to step away, come back, and then anytime you're having a problem, just be like, oh, now this is sticking out as like a sore thumb and I'm embarrassed.
Yep, completely.
And this is also why chat is really good because they, like Tim said, they do know everything. And they're very helpful when they're like, that looks a little off. So by all means, we're open to suggestions or thoughts. Thank you so much, Kathleen. Talked about this tip last week, which is awesome. You could do yes, you can do, Matthew mentions you can do image adjustments, match color, and target that Golden Gate image.
Right, yeah.
You can. That's always a little tricky. I feel like I only have certain demo files where I show that.
Right.
But doesn't usually work I do exactly what you do, basically.
Right. Yeah, I've done the match color, and sometimes it works perfectly. Sometimes I like to have a bit more control over it, in which case I do this. But yeah, I mean, that's
whatever
also
works
a good
for
tip.
you.
Yeah.
Into this.
Yeah, something else Paul and I were talking about is offline is that, there are so many different ways to do the same thing in Photoshop. So if you guys have a certain method that works for you and I'm doing something else and you're like, wait, that's not what I do, don't worry. Whatever works for you to get the result and to get what you need, then yeah. Yeah,
there's no... I don't think there's really is there any wrong way if you got the results that you wanted,
Right.
That sort of thing. Unless you, like you said earlier, when you go to print it out and everything's pixelated.
Yeah.
And then you have to go back in and you have to blur everything to fix the pixelation.
Not good. Not good.
I love it.
Let's see, what did Tim say? All the colors will not print in CMYK.
Yeah, color conversion is another thing.
Hey, there's my brother. Evan McNaught. Shout out.
Shout out, Evan. What's up? Welcome. Your sister's on TV.
Yeah. He's actually who I go to for all of like my tips or to get extra help in kind of a critical eye, because we have a great relationship where we'll help each other with our work. And so I'll say, hey, Evan, how's this look? And he's always willing to say that doesn't match, it doesn't work, that's ugly.
Okay.
And it's great because sometimes you need that. You know, you need someone
just
to say.
A trusted person. You're like, I don't like what does he do for work? What do you do for work? I can say it out. What does he do?
He's a landscape architect.
Okay. It's still very visual, though.
Yeah, totally. And he does graphic design on the side as well.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
You know, grew up as an artist, a family of artists, so we both kind of have that background. And he's very critical of things in a good way. So it's awesome.
That's key.
And someone, you know, it's great because I can say something to him and he can say, this is the worst thing you've ever done, and it doesn't hurt my feelings because he's my brother. So it's awesome.
Yeah, like he has to like you, regardless.
Exactly.
And you have to like him even when he says mean things.
Yep.
Be nice, Evan.
Love you, Ev. So yeah, let's fix that airplane window. I saw someone say, let's get that nasty yellow border out of there. So let's do that now. So there's going to be a couple things with this one because it's so yellow, and the first thing that I think I'm going to do is adjust the hue and saturation. So I want to just bring the saturation down on this. So you can see I didn't turn my clipping mask on here, and it's making everything. So like, let's just leave it like that. We're done. Good to go.
You're like, color is giving you a problem? Yeah. I guess it's going to be a black and white image. Done.
Yeah, you can always do that. Just change it to black and white. So I'm going to turn the clipping mask on here and then bring that saturation down. And I might end up bringing it back up later on, but for now, let's just do that, and then add another adjustment layer and go to color balance. All right, so clipping mask on, and I know you guys gave a lot of good tips on turning that on, but I'm just used to clicking this little guy, so.
Yeah.
So let's see, we can go all out on this if we want. What color do you guys want it to be?
This is gonna be really fun. Well, do we pick it? Is there light coming from the inside? What does the original photo look like? You know, I'm just thinking out loud.
Right.
I think feel free.
James.
Let us know what you think. But like it's picking up light kind of from the outside, right? I first of all love what you already did so far. Like
Thanks.
I think I almost want you to not touch it. You know, sometimes like don't, nobody move, nobody, careful,
don't
careful.
Touch it.
It's good.
Don't touch it.
But it's good to play with that. Yes, good. Mario's learning. Color's giving you a problem? Let's make it black and white.
Yep. Can we get some shirts made with that? Yes. So
this is really good though. Like just this whole thought of it. Like continue on its way. Like
cool.
I like the color and the color adjustments that you've added.
Okay, so yeah, this is what it was. We had that warm
cohesive
sun.
is a good word.
Yeah.
Now you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Sorry, go ahead.
Cohesive, I don't see noise. So you're saying the noise in the image, in the whole image? That's something we'll fix too, is matching the noise, but I usually do that later on.
I do think what's gonna annoy me after a while, if you don't mind me saying, is like, and this is detail that we work on later, but that like the cleaning up of that edge.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of hidden behind me.
Yeah,
which is
it's a nasty edge.
It's
something
just to get us working faster. So
we switched now. Yeah, so
maybe just like have us over there cover it up. Can we just
cover it?
No,
can we cover it?
Can we just shop? That's another thing. Like having problems with the bottom of the image.
Yeah.
Just crop it.
Just crop it.
Just crop it out. Problem solved. Black and white, cropped, really small.
Yeah. That's
it's
perfect.
Good. Don't have to worry about details.
Yeah, we can work on it like this. You guys can't see anything.
Hey, it looks fine now. No, trust me. It's just a very small window. It's a budget airline.
Yeah.
Everybody has to share one window.
Yeah.
Like, what does that side world look like?
Exactly.
But I really like the color adjustments you're doing.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. Like this layer mask needs to be cleaned up completely, but I will probably take a long time to do that. So
we don't have to worry about that now.
But yeah, maybe I'll work on that tonight, and then you guys can see what it will look like tomorrow. So yeah, if we wanted to keep this as it is, we could do that, but I feel like it's a bit too orange.
question.
Yeah.
I feel like if it is gonna have a tint of the yellow or something, like I feel like this is why you flipped it anyways, is because light coming from that source there.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I like to do in Camera Raw is add this big. Oh yeah, people are like, save your work.
Malay, thank you. That was good. Thank you.
All right, I guess I should do that.
Yes, thank you.
I actually was hoping.
This always happens, by the way.
I know.
We'll be like an hour and a half in, and we won't have it saved.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah.
Whew.
Sometimes I will do a whole thing, not save it once, and lose it. So thanks for reminding me.
But at the same time, like we do have recovery files. Like it's
Yeah.
not as bad when like when you first started out, remember?
Yeah.
And you would lose a file, you're like, okay, I guess I gotta.
Yep.
You're just like.
Yep. Yeah.
But you don't have to do that as much anymore because of
No.
recovered files.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't it
It's
amazing?
amazing. Although sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know why,
Oh, interesting.
but yeah.
I'd have to think
People are
about
very
that.
happy that I saved now, so.
Yeah, I'm feeling better. About it too.
I mean, it just means you guys could watch me longer. We could go all day, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm gonna turn that back on, and now looking at it again after kind of talking, I'm like, meh, I don't really like that. It's a bit too.
Yeah, it's a little.
I don't know what's happening here.
It's the color now of the frame.
Yeah, maybe too.
It doesn't like. Yeah, I kind of feel like it needed a little. Yeah.
Like a little
Just
warmer.
a little something, something. There, it's almost starting to stand out like too much.
I know. We can play with that with curves too. Like, so this is something, that kind of comes up for me often is like I'll do something and then I'm just like, nope, that looks really bad. And I'll go back and then I'll be like, okay, what else do I need to add to fix this? Like maybe we add some curves, maybe we make it darker. I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of play with this.
Yeah, just yeah, that's a good call too. Wow. Yeah, I'm into that.
Let's see, zoom out here. No, we don't want to do that.
And then I like the idea of making that frame like less intense. I also like the idea of maybe it's not one color tint, but a highlight of yellow, and then it kind of trails off into more of a blue.
Yeah, that would be super cool. I like that idea. So we could do that. Let's see. Let's maybe start with.
Sometimes what happens to me, I don't know if you ever do this, I have many adjustment layers, and it's almost like some adjustment layers are canceling out other adjustment layers.
Yeah, exactly. Then you're like,
I just
what?
keep adding. I'm like, no. One adds more blue, and the other one takes away the blue.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so confused.
I know. It definitely ends up being like, what am I working on here? So, looks like people are giving good ideas.
This is one thought, is to have one adjustment layer that's blue and one of them that's yellow, and then just paint with layer mask.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah. So let's see, we have our color balance here, that's a little yellow. So if we just came in with a black brush, then we could, let's see, turn the flow up. This is gonna make it pretty yellow over here, but we could mask that out for now. And then let's see if we added another color balance layer and made it more blue. Okay, bear with me, guys.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Whatever you're doing right now, it's looking really good.
And then we could just, it's a little yellow, but.
For some,
It's like too orangey.
can you undo that brush
Yeah.
stroke? Because I think this looks like you have blue and then yellow.
Yeah.
It kind of looks, I don't know what you did, but everything's working.
Yeah, cool.
Open to suggestions, ideas. We got the idea of using a gradient map with a single color and then mask it out where it isn't required. A gradient map is fun to use. And we'll wait for chat to kind of catch up if
Okay.
people have more thoughts on this. I like the thought of bringing the clouds inside the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? No, he's like, it's just like fun. Why not?
And a lot of this, one of my favorite things is using Camera Raw at the end. And I kind of, I saw some people saying, do I use Lightroom as well? Well, I do for just basic edits, but in this case, usually what I do is I make a copy of all the layers, merge them, turn it into a smart object, and then edit in Camera Raw to do the final color adjustments. And that's where I'll add like that pop of light coming in and my split toning, which I can do soon or whenever.
So when you do the Camera Raw, like, how do you do? Is it just like one flat image?
Yeah, so I essentially flatten it, which people probably give me crap for, but I make it as a copy, so I could always go back and change everything later on. And then I make it a smart object, so I can continue to edit that Camera Raw if like tomorrow I'm like, oh wait, no, I need to fix that. So, and that's what I do for my final color adjustment. People often say to me, how do you get that like color that I'm known for, like that really bright pinks and orange and dark rich blues? And that all happens in Camera Raw for me.
Okay. I mean, another way, if you wanted to get around the two files, you'd have to make everything one smart object and then add Camera Raw as a filter on top of it.
Yeah.
That would work too.
Yeah.
But then it gets a little deep because you have a smart object inside there. You have smart objects within smart objects, and that's a whole thing. But right. I do think Camera Raw is awesome.
Yeah.
Like even as a layer on a smart object, if you just want a make it better button, go into Camera Raw.
Yep.
Hit auto. And you'll notice all the sliders adjust.
That's true.
That's like a good starting point for like any beginner.
Yeah.
Like these are maybe the adjustment layers that you would maybe add.
Yeah. Yeah,
so.
And I think for a lot of people that are used to using Lightroom, Camera Raw is so similar to that, and it's kind of cool. So, like I said, I do that at the end to add the final touches, and so some people don't like using it, but it's really what's worked for me to add that like Anna McNaught pop of color. So.
Into it.
Yeah.
I
so
like it. These are good thoughts. So do you use, somebody asked if you use Lightroom.
Yeah, I do use Lightroom mainly to store my images, and then also like to do, lifestyle edits. Like for clients, I use Lightroom, but I tend to not do any of my compositing adjustments in Lightroom. I do all my final adjustments in Camera Raw.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Robbie Doyle, you got to try Camera Raw. And you feel free, you could try it out now, because we do have the challenge that's going on right now. You have less than 30 minutes. We'll review those in 30 minutes. And just to remind you, you can go to that challenge tab. And it's all about combining at least two images together.
So I saw someone say something about adjusting the stars. So I'm just kind of playing with that a little bit now.
Into it.
And I'm just imagining you outside in this plane being like, excuse me, I think we're a little high. We're like starting to break the atmosphere. Yeah.
Are we supposed to be this high?
I'd be cool with that though. I want to go to space, as you guys can see.
Yeah.
NASA.
NASA.
I'm going to go to space someday. That's my goal.
That is cool. I think Tim brings up a good point. Like you do that's also a pro tip when it comes to like clarity. Is that where you add the clarity?
I don't add clarity. I used to honestly be like, because that was kind of a cool style for a while, but
look like an HDR type.
Yeah, I avoid that. Maybe like a touch if it's really just kind of looking.
It'll give it a little bit of pop, but you bring it to the point where it just like starts to pixelate everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's like it ends up looking really weird. Okay, so we're starting to get things pretty much like in place and color corrected. Now we just need to kind of like do more detail. What do you guys want to work on next?
Wow, we're doing well.
I know, I'm like cruising right through this. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
I know you, well, here's a question, like, do we need a hint? This might be a horrible idea. This is probably where I just like do a Google and look for references to see if there would be any light being cast on the glass of that.
Yeah, that's
window.
true. That is true. I think
and I don't know. I don't know the answer.
we might want to add something like that. Let's see. Okay, so the people are saying the bridge is kind of distracting. It's super saturated red. That is true. We can change that. So let's go in and add a hue saturation layer and bring the saturation down a bit. Let's try there. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to inverse this layer. So Command I, and I'm gonna make it black, and then I'm gonna zoom in on this bridge and paint with white.
And I have a maybe a good idea. Oh yeah, I'm finding some great reference
Oh, cool.
photos.
Yeah, I definitely want to see that. So, let's see. Here's our. I mean, I personally like the bright red because I like the pop of color.
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
I think doing that painting, like I think we tried it, but
Yeah.
I really like what you did.
Yeah, like because the focus here is about the bridge, and we can even like blur and lessen the mountains a bit if we wanted. So I like that pop of red, but you know, you guys can always add this, and inversing your layers like that is a great way to paint a little area.
Here's something I'm looking at just from reference photos, which may or may not be a good idea or whatever. But it's just this edge, and we'll maybe switch to my screen real fast if we could. Or you can Google it. But sometimes the glass around the edges gets a little blurry. That's what I'm noticing with these different photos.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's a slight spilling over, just a slight. And there's like this reflection, there's scrapes and different things. I don't know if we need to go that far, but how can you tie it together in just a touch? You know, and again, I'm just talking about this little edge right there. I don't know, is that something we need to do?
Yeah.
It's just a thought like this. That's again a little
That's
extreme.
really, yeah, that's cool.
But, you know.
This is really great because it's something that I haven't really thought about. So.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you just get that little edge. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a good idea, but it's just. Ooh, you know what you could do, maybe? New layer, like you were showing me earlier, because you want to do a dodge and burn that's not destructive.
Yeah.
So could you paint with it on a new layer or something that way?
Yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna add a new layer, and then we're gonna go edit fill, or you can use the shortcut, and we're gonna fill it with 50% gray. This is how you non-destructively dodge and burn. So then you're gonna just change your blending mode over here to overlay, and then you can dodge and burn and not destroy your image. So this is really cool. Let's see. So
could you add a little bit of like a highlight along?
Yeah, let's try that.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm in dodge. That's not.
Thank you, helmet. That's the word. Like a vignette with the reflection a little bit, just something subtle, but needed exactly.
Cool. So we could kind of add. Definitely need to clean up that layer mask, but.
Yeah, I know this is good. Even that, it looks like, you are adding like that. Oh yeah, that looked like that right there. That looks so
Yeah,
good.
now it's starting to have that.
It's selling it to me, because
yeah.
it's not just a whole.
Totally.
It's selling a little bit of that reflection.
Totally. And then, it's definitely looking messy right now with the sky and the nasty layer mask, but I think these little touches are starting to kind of bring it all
really
together.
does. Just like right there.
Yeah.
And, maybe with, sometimes I'm just thinking out loud. Because there's certain dust and scratches,
So we could even add a bit of a blur.
Let me look through some more images in here.
I'm gonna, let's see.
Like, they all definitely have that, like, this, even this, like, look at how is that reflection from that in there.
That's cool.
Like, I really like what you have, but that's, like, just another thought. Even this, like that bokeh, like, I don't know where that came from. First of all, your light isn't this intense.
Right.
But, you know, adding just a little, like, a little circle of something. I don't know.
Yeah, adding, like, some...
We're just talking out loud.
Yeah, we're just playing.
We're just playing. But first off, it's like, looks up straight up. Looks like great.
Let's see.
Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Gus, what do you think?
Someone said, can you explain what the dodge and burn does? Yes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think you kind of did. But yeah, can you just change that back to like normal mode? So you can see what you painted.
Oh, yeah. So basically to start, dodge and burn. So dodge is going to make things brighter or whiter, and burn is going to make things darker or blacker. And so when you use these two tools, you can change between focusing on your shadows. Let me zoom in here. Oh no. How do I get it?
You got it. Up a little further.
Ah, there we go. Okay, so you can change between your shadows, your midtones, your highlights, and then change the exposure. So this controls how much of that black or that white that you're painting. There we go. Yay. Okay. So then if you do that just on your image, you can just do that wherever you're painting, but then it's destructive. So what we do here is we're adding this gray layer, 50% gray, and then so you can see here where I actually did some dodging and burning. I just did dodging in this case. But then you can, so if you switch it to overlay, now it's gonna allow us to just see.
That does some, I think it does a lot for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it brings those two together as opposed to just looking just like a punch out.
Yeah, I think it definitely needs to be like refined, but I think it's starting to make it look a lot more realistic.
Oh yeah, into it.
Cool.
So yeah, and you could like save this. We can work on this some more based on suggestions. We could dive into something else. I know you have like other ideas too. I think there's a ton of questions that I have as I start to like look at your Instagram and how awesome it is too, by the way. Just
Thanks.
FYI.
Thank you.
Because like look at all this magical stuff that's happening. Like look at this just like pop of color, you know, that like magicalness. And then just like, what are you, how are you coming up with these ideas? You know, like this one. That's a little disconcerting right here.
Oh yeah, that one was actually for a contest, and I took like a basic image and then painted like all the colors on it and painted the light and the glow and everything. So that was really cool.
There you are. Like even this, like I hope to, and we don't have to do this today, but I would like love to see like some of your PSDs, your original, like open up an original PSD and just see how messy it is and just like peek under the hood of it. Would be super fun to do.
Awesome. Yeah,
well.
I don't.
Oh, and here it is. Like here's kind of like something that you're actually. This is nice. This is a good little reference, huh?
Yeah. So this is
okay.
This is one of the earlier versions that I did of this, and you can see where I didn't quite like blend the two clouds together. So I have the Golden Gate Bridge with those clouds, and then the mountain clouds. These same ones, but you can see that I didn't quite blend it enough. We have a bit of cyan coming through.
Oh, I see that.
And so you can kind of look back on this stuff and see like where you've messed things up. And so I like how I blended the sky here. And so in this image, you can actually see where I'm kind of going with the one we're working on now. And that pop of brightness, I do that in Camera Raw with a radial filter. And so that's my final like blow out the corner and then...
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And it's okay, like destructive save, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I would love to just see that happen. I think that makes it look like this sky is like more of the atmosphere.
Yeah, because I
and
do see
everything.
a lot of people saying like, well, where's the sun coming from? And I kind of end up adding that in later. But yeah, so this isn't ready for camera raw, but we can go ahead and go into
Yeah,
it. So
just save it.
all right, so what I would do, I know there's a shortcut to do this too. You guys probably know it. Copy all the layers, drag, and Command E to merge them. And then, yeah, let's save this before we...
Oh yeah, and again, 15 minutes to get your challenges in, your challenge submissions in, and I will take a peek at that and see where we're at. Again,
Cool.
just composite 2 images together. And
So I just made this into a smart object so I can edit that later on if I want. So I'm gonna go filter, camera raw filter.
and that's everything on one layer. Did
Yeah.
you do a shortcut key for that too?
I didn't do the shortcut. I just copied all the layers and then merged them. But there is a shortcut to do
I
the
know, and I can't
merge
remember.
all, copy.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Dumb
So,
shortcuts getting
Yeah,
me.
I would love it if somebody knew like the shortcut key for merge all onto a new layer.
Yeah.
Merge
Yeah.
all on a new layer. What's
And
the shortcut?
copy it, not just merge it.
What's up, Luke Choice in the house? Luke's the
yeah.
man, otherwise known as Velvet Spectrum. Does amazing work. Super,
Oh, awesome.
super amazed by somebody who, like, I'm constantly amazed by you. Just stop it already. I'm like, I got so much catching up to do with some of these people. Like, oh, you're killing me.
Awesome.
Cool to see such talent in chat today. So, and also seeing talent come through with the challenge submissions. Looks like we already have,
Cool.
a good 11 in. Keep them coming.
Awesome.
Luke, you're not allowed to participate in the challenge because you're too good. Just kidding.
Like seeing all these.
Jerk. Okay, here we are.
Okay, cool. So actually what I'm going to do first is just cancel out of this and crop it. Just do a basic crop to clean everything up. There we go. Okay. Because what happens is when you go into camera raw, it's going to see everything. And so sometimes if you don't crop it, then you're going to get all that other stuff that you don't need. So just crop, get rid of it, go back into camera raw.
Yeah, camera raw is like overlooked by people, I feel. It's because
It didn't crop anyways, but...
No, it's fine. It doesn't bother
well.
me. Is it going to screw anything up?
No.
Oh, it's
Just
gonna
something that I
bother
usually
you.
get.
You're like, okay.
I'm like, yeah, get rid of it. Okay, so let's zoom in here. And so normally what I would do if I was ready to do camera raw is I'd start kind of doing all my little like final adjustments in here. Like I like to make things a bit pinker, and then sometimes I'll, bring the contrast up, maybe bring the exposure, kind of like play with some of this. And then what I really do is like I'll get into split toning. And so I always make my highlights super warm, like not that warm obviously, but and then my shadows cool. So that's kind of how I get the look that I've become known for. And so again, guys, just want to stress that this image is not done and not ready for this step, but I just want to show it. So then we're going to click here on radial filter, and we're just going to drag a circle there. Okay. So we want to be inside the circle, so you click here, inside, and then this is just taking my settings from before. So I'm going to just increase the exposure here and make it warmer.
And Nell's happy about that. She's like, make it warm. You got it. We're making it warm.
Yeah. So I'll do this.
That's good. Amping up that... Are you playing with the saturation at all?
Right now,
I mean, it looks like you did, but all you're doing is you're increasing the warmth, the temperature, and the tint. That's it.
yeah. So
looks
all
really
of
good.
these should be at 0. It saves whatever the last thing was that you did. So that okay. So now I'm just playing with the exposure and the warmth. So now what I might do is I get that kind of how I want it. Then I might go new and go around that same area. And I know that looks like crap. And click outside. Oh yeah, that looks great. Just
Perfect.
kidding.
Nailed it.
And then do the opposite. So bring the exposure down, bring the temperature down, and adjust this. And so then kind of start to get that magical corner glow that I want. And then I might even come in here and in Camera Raw do one more like final adjustment here.
Ooh,
So,
look at you. So you're painting with a brush along that edge and adjusting accordingly.
yeah. So that's actually even how I might have added that that little like glow, the reflection glow that we got. I might even consider doing that in Camera Raw, like making all this.
I love this. Like that looks really, that's cool.
So then
This step really adds a lot.
Yeah, like you can see how much Camera Raw does, and that's why I love it. Like I might erase that and just, let's see, go back and maybe add a bit. So it's not perfect yet. It's not, that edge still needs to be cleaned up. But you can see like we're starting to get those glowy effects. And that's kind of, yes, do this as ASMR, yes. So yeah, then I'll go back into the main section and just maybe like tweak anything I need a little bit. And then if I were done with this, you can see how much of a difference like camera.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's why I always use Camera Raw at the end. Once all my layers are clean, once everything's refined, like I'd fix this sky a lot, blend things, match the colors as some of you guys were talking about, and then add the Camera Raw on top.
Again, like pro tip, this right here, I mean, this adds like just an awesome pop to what you're doing. And this starts to come through in your like your Instagram, all your different photos.
Exactly.
I could see that like a vibrancy and like pop. And I feel like Camera Raw like does a lot of that like for you. I mean, at least that's one way, obviously.
Yeah.
I think Camera Raw does like a zillion. It's an application in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But it does a lot of adding all of these adjustment layers and everything. And you're right, you didn't add any clarity or anything. You kind of, I guess, really didn't need to. Huh?
Yeah. So I like look at that difference.
Look at that.
And so now like people
Boom.
who are saying,
Bam.
where's the light coming from? Well, we can clearly see where the light is pulling
And you made
from
it.
now.
You
Yeah,
like made it defined. Like this is where, and I love that because this is how it goes. You have the light over here. It's catching that little like highlight. You're really selling it as like a scene.
Awesome, yeah. So. And I might fully like edit this one and clean it up and show you guys like exactly what I would be posting and doing and have it ready for tomorrow. Maybe.
Okay.
Depends on what we do tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Depends on how. We'll either have a refined design or some fun stories for you.
With bags under our eyes. So
what time is it? And like 4 of these. I already have 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Never know how the night will go.
Yeah. I think
so
coffee solves a whole world of problems.
Yeah.
So this is really helpful, I think. Yeah, Evan, your brother, likes this whole thing. And it might be fun for him to see because he probably like kind of knows how you work, but it's fun watching you like this is what you do on a regular basis.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely. Yeah, I mean, I love looking back and forth between these. And then the best thing about this being a smart object is that you can click on Camera Raw here underneath it and open it back up and fix everything we just did. So you can go back to the radial filter and you can see those filters we just did. So if you're like, okay, I want to change this, you just click on the little dot in the center and then you can adjust this thing.
Yeah.
So I've actually been starting to get into even darker style than I have been. And so I might like change, make that really dark and
a little down.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're feeling dramatic that day.
Yeah, exactly. So, someone said, did you already add the noise? So, no, I did not. And usually what I would do in that case is I would do that before Camera Raw. I would adjust the noise on each layer. So let's say, like, I might go into this airplane window and I might actually get rid of some of the noise. So I would probably go into Camera Raw. And click here on the detail, noise reduction, because I actually want to get rid of some of this and just bring the luminance up a bit to match. And then I might even go into each of the layers and actually add noise in. And so essentially what we're doing is just balancing everything out.
And Tim, like if you have, I feel like you might have some tips around, like, I don't know about adding noise, but adding like clarity or whatever. I saw you mention some things, so feel free. You know, I don't like the idea of, say, like adding noise. You don't want to add noise. Do you really want to add noise to a photo or composition?
Right.
I want to add maybe some detail or some. I want to make some, like, make it pop, as they say. But like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see something all grainy unless I'm going for an old grainy look.
Exactly. I think the only time that I'll add noise is if there's a part of my composite that already has some noise or grain in it, and like I like the way that looks. I might add some luminance to that, and then add some noise to my other image if it's too soft, and then so that way they match in terms of their quality.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why this move right here really will help tie the whole thing together. Because any of these moves you do as a whole is going to help tie that together, whether it means like adding noise. But that's like a huge thing. Like how detailed something is versus how, you know, less detailed something else is.
Exactly. So that's a huge thing in like blending everything, getting everything to look really good. Like I'll do, like I said, I'll match the noise in each of the images, and then I'll match the color, and then I will do some painting with the clouds the way we did, make sure my layer masks all match, and then I actually will blur the edges of my layer masks to just kind of blend and merge everything. And then add camera raw. So that's kind of my quick process in a stream of words. But yeah, I'm just loving this before and after right now.
I am too. I want to like I'll just point out a quick tip on my screen, since we are talking about like noise and clarity and stuff like that, because this is probably what people are using down here, which is nice.
Yeah.
And you can do an extreme of either one of these just to see how it reacts. It's kind of hard to tell, but what you can do is hold down the Alt key or Option key and click on that slider, and you can see the parts that it's affecting.
Yeah.
And I think that's nice because, like, I want to maybe dehaze, or I want to add some clarity. You know, I guess I can only do that on dehaze. I thought I could do it on clarity. But if I wanted to like dehaze a certain part of it, like I know it's affecting the sky, I don't want to add all that crispness to the sky.
Right.
I just want it to be on him. So just kind of be aware of those details. But those quick little tips also, typically if you double click on the slider, it'll bring it back to center as well. So you can kind of undo what you did, just FYI.
That's a good little tip to know. Didn't know that.
Oh yeah, about 2 minutes, and we get to review these designs.
All right.
Can we put my skateboarder in the sky here too?
Yeah. He can just be going for a little ride.
Yeah.
Jumping over the Golden Gate Bridge. Perfect.
Or maybe he's this really little.
Yeah, he's like riding up the edge.
Is that a guy there? Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, split toning. Wow. Oh, good to have you, James Bonanno.
That's my hubby.
Good. Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Hi, hubby. Yeah, they got the whole gang.
I
here.
know.
So many supporters.
I know. I actually, I didn't take his last name because I'd be Anna Banana, or Anna Banana.
Oh, Anna Banana. Well,
Yeah,
I would just be like, that's too cute to almost not do that.
I know, right? I mean, I can Anna McNaught Banana. Gets a little crazy, so.
Yeah, good times. Well, James, we hear a lot of good things about you here, and I'm not just saying that, but accomplished producer, like editor, does all sorts of things.
Yes.
So it seems like you two make quite a team.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And it seems like we've actually had a fair amount of entries too.
Cool.
And again, we're just down to the last minute, so get those in. Just to remind you, we're going all day long. Sure, you can check the schedule tab, but we have a fantastic lineup. All pro tips, all today. You can check out that schedule. So this is day one, so thank you so much for joining us. Of course, Kathleen, thank you. And but again, Daily Creative Challenge starts at 8:30 a.m. That's with XD. Thank you, Howard. Anna with us for another 30 minutes. Andrew's going to be up with Ashley, and then Sasha as well. All using Photoshop, pro tips all day long till 3 p.m. And that's what's happening. So hang out with us, enter for a chance to win at least the daily creative challenges. That's going to change tomorrow. It's going to be something else. And then also on day 3 is when we're going to do portfolio reviews.
Awesome.
So yeah, that is the plan. So hopefully that... Kathleen does say, wait, you didn't want to be Anna Bonanno?
I know.
It is super cute.
It's
Like, it's
pretty
super
great.
fun to talk about.
I know. Maybe
But Anna
eventually I'll change
McNaughty.
it.
Like,
I know.
I love Anna McNaughty.
I know.
Like,
What am I
Instagram.
supposed to do? I got
I
two
don't know.
great names
You
here. It's
do.
like,
So we will make sure my internet's working, for one. And tell me something else. Tell me something.
see.
Fill the air with something.
all
Like,
right.
it's not-
I'm not-
What are you? What's a hidden? Do you have a hidden talent you can do it at like a party?
Yeah, I can.
Do you?
I can touch my tongue to my nose.
Oh wow.
Irrelevant to photography, but
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's a thing.
Should connect to the court network.
Okay,
This has
certainly.
been pretty
Boop.
cool.
Yeah, that's fun. You have to have a party trick or something.
I know,
Like
I
a
know.
card trick or something like this. This is my trick. Ready? Boop.
Oh,
Yeah, I know. I love. I just
that's
like
actually
everything
really
I can do
good.
is like can only entertain like 5-year-olds.
I love that.
So.
Oh, so great.
Oh yeah, I think they're loading in now. Fantastic. So again, all you have to do is just go right over here, challenge tab. That's what I'm clicking on is this link right here. And that will bring you to this page and then just go to view gallery. Okay. So do a surrealistic composite and we have quite a few to review. So let's dive into that.
Awesome.
Oh, looks like Mohammed. And again, we don't know if people actually did this today, realistically. Whether they
Okay.
did it today or last week. I don't know. We'll check them out. Cool.
Oh, cool.
Mohammed.
It's like water with a street. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to figure out because this seems surreal in and of itself, but this could actually exist. And this part is super surreal.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool because it almost takes you a few minutes to figure out if it's real or not.
Exactly. But great job. Like, if this reflection is done, like if it's added, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like adding that vertical blur.
Yeah,
is
that's
awesome.
really cool. It reminds me of like Venice or something with the the canals. It's like the street is water and then
Yeah.
really interesting.
Yeah, way cool. Octavio,
Whoa.
King Rat.
That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm into it. Very cool. Are you going to talk about like maybe cutting out things or selecting things over the course of the week?
Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll get into cutting some things out.
I will say this overall tone is very nice, right? I'm
Yeah.
really into the tone and color. Mohammed is throwing another one our way. Got a
Oh,
little
that's
face.
cool.
Hey, why not? Do some coloring.
Yeah, it's like
fun.
the lips.
Yeah.
Ooh, cat in the clouds.
Dick Chan. Oh yeah, that's funny.
That's cool.
Yeah. Small lens flares. Very like kind of 70s sci-fi art kind of. That's what
Yeah.
it kind of seems like. Antonio.
Oh, that's
More
cool. That would be a
solo.
great album cover.
Yes.
That's awesome.
This is really cool. Very hipster with these thin lines.
Yeah.
You know, and this like bold circle in the background.
I love that. I've actually been trying to play with more like lines and stuff in my work and add like some graphic design elements. So this is super cool and
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Malay. Oh, we're getting into like a little 3D here, which I like. This is
Whoa.
like a UV map, if you will. These lines are great.
Yeah.
This is a great piece.
Yeah. That is
Right?
so cool. I don't even know how to make something like that. That's amazing.
Technically, you could use Photoshop to do some of this.
I
'Cause
love
you
how
have to
the-
import a 3D model. But
That's cool. I love how the blue on her legs like actually looks like highlights and then it looks like she's in a bubble or something.
a lot of
neat.
great things, great color, so many great things going on with this piece.
Yeah.
Malay, slow clap.
Oh yeah.
Disturbance.
Oh,
Ooh, I
cool.
see what you did there, Diana. Disturbance.
Oh,
Urban.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're such a rebel. Look at you, rebellious.
That's cool. Great poster work.
Yeah, very cool. Love the offset and all that good stuff. Diana, great job. Nazman?
Cool. Got some clouds and a little boat.
Yeah. Super fun. I like it.
Awesome.
Jennifer Thompson.
Oh, that's cool.
Again, surrealistic. Got a little
I like how
unicorn.
it almost looks like there's like some mountains and trees and the moon.
Yeah,
Kind of
I like that.
multiple worlds or something.
Yeah. Very cool, Jennifer. Jessica Deal. This is fun. Always putting the, little jellyfish in the sky, some
Oh, yeah.
turtles. He's like, wait, what is that? Like, no, man, what are you on, man? What are you on? You're out camping. What are you on, mister?
I love that.
But the
yeah.
colors look great. And
Yeah.
this is kind of what you were doing, is this complementary, like a pop of color from the sun or the fire.
Totally,
with
yeah.
the blue.
As I'm sure you guys are aware now from my work, like I love pops of orange and deep blues, like that complementary split. Super cool.
Yeah. Amrita, there we are.
Oh, cool.
Again, not sure if this is like older work or whatever. We'd like to review some new stuff, but this is cool. Little window into, I don't know. It's like into another like multiverse or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like
What's happening
like a
there?
portal or something.
I like this edge.
Yeah, it's like going into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
It's like a wormhole.
Oh, cool. I love those, like when they fall off the edge. That's awesome.
It's cool. It's such an easy trick, and it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. And Elio's kind of doing what you're doing, like adding that like a little bit of highlight, which
Yeah.
this stuff really like sells it. It's darker on this side, it's lighter on this side.
Totally.
So great job.
Yeah, and using the Golden Gate from today, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Good color tones overall, you know. Vic Naresh.
Whoa.
Yeah, let's add some layers into it. Right? I gotta zoom out.
That
a
is
little.
so cool. That's like a really amazing, like, I don't even know,
Like it's a
quadruple
exactly,
exposure.
that's what I was-
Exposure, can't even
exactly.
say it. It's cool. It
Vic
reminds me of
Naresh.
like mixed media, and people do like really interesting collages with found objects and stuff.
Yeah, this is really fun to look at. There's like a lot going on. I love the colors.
Yeah,
It's
and like a
very-
lot of meaning behind it too. You can kind of see different pieces of that person's life, maybe like memories.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really cool. Vic Naresh, good job. Jay
Whoa.
Eager. This is cool.
That's really cool to
Looking
look
for
at.
looking into a mirror and seeing a hole. This is pretty much me as a child, because if it wasn't in one of two categories, I wasn't interested. It was either candy or cartoons.
Yep.
If it's not, and this is almost like both, like cartoon candy, like, yeah, this is like, I'm all over it. The rest to me was this is black and white.
Yeah.
Like if I saw people on TV, freaking boring.
Yep.
People? Really? We're doing people now? Put on the cartoons. But Jay, good job. It's super fun.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
think the whole good idea of having the light spill onto her is, like, keep pushing that, wouldn't you say? 'Cause I think you
Definitely.
do a good job of highlighting the subject and taking it to the next level.
I think pushing light onto your subjects, or even like we were doing today, putting it onto the corner of the window, is something that's really challenging and something that I still struggle a lot with. And so I think the more you kind of practice that and like observing the world around you and observing images of how light spills onto certain things is such a powerful thing when compositing.
Yeah, and the best way to do that, and I would say the first lesson I learned with my first job was like, you need to take notes from real life.
Yeah.
You know, that's all, and you have enough photography background. You know how to set things up. You know how light interacts with objects. You take that with you to compositing, and
Yep.
you're going to sell whatever you're working on.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. And something that I think we all tend to forget in composite, just side note here, is rim light. Like that's something I always am like, in hair, like you
Yeah.
see a silhouette, but you forget that in silhouettes there's going to be this very thin, bright white line around them.
Yeah, I would love to hear you talk more about that over the next couple days of how you almost push some of that and maybe you push it a little farther when you do a composite,
Yeah.
just so it gets noticed.
Definitely.
It's just kind of interesting. This is great. This is a very large piece from Chris, which looks cool.
Yeah.
I almost think I almost want to get rid of this phrase.
Yeah.
In terms of like feedback, this is so cool. This almost competes for your attention.
Yeah.
Not needed.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like the steps going up the hand,
I
moving up
almost-
the arm is really just
Yeah,
it talks.
and I get
speaks
it. It
for
already
itself.
says like walk with me as they like are reaching out. So
Yeah.
let's move on. Roxana Rodriguez. And this is totally cool. So they'll do. We give them challenges and we say, hey, use Adobe stock. So that's why these are. Don't ever like stamp that out because you're like stealing somebody's work.
Yeah.
But this is good. Hopefully, made today, if not recently. Cutting that out, adding that snow.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I know it gives you like depth
Yeah.
and lets you see the different layers, and I love. How
I don't know
you
where
have-
the roof is to this place.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Maybe there isn't one.
But it sells it. Like you could see this blur
Yeah.
snow, like a couple of the layers. It's kind of fun.
It's cool because you almost feel like you're standing kind of in like a ruined structure almost, where like there's no roof above you. You're looking out. The lighting's all kind of the same, so you have this really unique like winter scene with lots of depth to it.
And I think kind of learning from you today, I would go ahead and have some adjustment layers, use them as a clipping mask here, and maybe match this to this scene. You already have
Yep.
a little bit of this like orange auburn color. Like this needs to be pushed. Is it pushed more to blue? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just play with it, but super, super cool. Good job, Roxana.
Oh yeah.
Surreal. You got to keep it real. Surreal.
Yes. Love it.
But again, probably made today, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
And
Lots
this
going on.
this
there.
says surreal. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, like the horses, like what?
And I hope you're having fun with this, because it seems like this is just fun to mess with.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
definitely.
It's a fun like theme.
I feel like any sort of
Surreal.
compositing in Photoshop, no matter what you do, is fun.
Yeah, this is awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. This looks like your work, kind of like in terms of just being vibrant and
Yeah, and you got
just
the
gorgeous.
Yeah, I've actually used that sky before too.
Oh,
so
okay.
Love that sky. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
Good job, Nick. Good. Great minds think alike.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the
Gorgeous.
colors.
You know what also is fun to see, and I know you're posting these to Behance. We won't click through them. We encourage you to, by the way. But like seeing the source files would be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want to know about this horse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Because
What's-
when you can see like how much something has changed from its original state, that's always
Yeah.
cool.
It's very cool, though. It's gorgeous. Rachel Rice.
Ooh,
Yep.
I'm a fan of that.
Me too.
I like weird space things.
You do. You would. I knew. I could tell. Like, yeah. Just I'd say work on the transparency here. You could still see that
Yeah.
edge, and we'd like to have that blend in, but fantastic job, Rachel Rice. Moving on along. I don't know how many we have. Afrosia, there we go. Oh, this is beautiful. This is what's smart about this one, by the way, is the composition. The layout so far. We'll wait for this to load. The fact that she's not in the center, she's off to the side. It could be even like a golden ratio thing happening here. She's
Totally.
looking into the piece and not out. Kind of looking at this flower. It all, like the composition is like pretty good.
Yeah,
Do you think?
it's really good. Like I love how the line kind of the background like splits her face just like the shadow does.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
That
And
is.
yeah, golden ratio for sure. Got
Yeah.
that going on here and in the flower.
I almost want to see this blue get punched up just a little bit because I feel like this pink is so gorgeous. I want to see the blue to have just a touch more richness. Do you?
Yeah, I could see that. Like, and even like a little cyan like pop. That would
Okay,
look cool.
a little cyan. Yeah, exactly. But a great job. And then just I think as we get into selections and refine edge tools and stuff like that. You're only going to learn so much if you hang out with us for 3 days.
Yeah.
That is our hope. And Axel Zapata.
That's super cool.
What? Axel, great job. I don't know if Axel's with us, and I don't know if this was made today. Either way, it's awesome.
I know, it's super cool.
Right?
I love
We
it.
get it. You're good. You're good at stuff. Stop it already. But go appreciate Axel's work. And this, I'm going to give it one more refresh. Hopefully. Okay, good. One more came in. Let's check out this one. Double exposure.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
She's like a
This
woods
is
woman.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like taking understand the angle of the photo, rotating it, having it follow their hair. And then again, I think over the next couple days, just work on really capturing all the hair so it looks less like a halo over there.
Definitely.
But
Yeah.
good job of like picking the right, photos and stuff.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That's very
Love
cool.
all of them. Good job, guys.
Everybody!
Yay!
Everybody's awesome! Good job, everybody!
Everybody's awesome.
Everybody's Do you offhand, and we still have about 5 to 7-ish minutes. Do you have any favorites in here that you wanna?
Let's see. I really love this one.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Malays, very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. And then let's see. I love that one too, of course.
Yeah. Some of these I'm like, was this really created in, an hour and a half? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't want to, but that's pretty darn sweet. Either way.
Yeah, I definitely can't create in an hour and a half. As you guys could see today, we got a little bit of the way through.
Yeah. But good ideas here. This grass, everything's pretty cool and cohesive. I think this one's great. This is where I asked, what are the source files?
Yeah.
What does this horse really look like? Because this just totally works. Look at how this is blurry, and it looks like the horse gets a little blurry, but I'd want to, how it melts into the background. It sells it as one scene.
Yeah, and the color of the hair is really cool.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Overall tone. Yeah. So, Eduardo, I'm sorry if we did not cover yours during this segment. We'll review it in the next segment, not to worry. But otherwise, everybody kind of seems like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I do want to point out a couple things since we are doing composites. You can always go to File. Let me turn this. Yeah, File, New. And you had presets, but you could also kind of jump into some of these template files. So if you just need to grab something quickly, even if it's this circular texture overlay, I could just grab this for the mountains alone, but this might be a quick way just to grab something to use.
That's so cool.
feel
I've never
free.
actually done
Here's
that.
here's my favorite one. Tell me this isn't gorgeous.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right? It's
So
awesome.
you can open that and then edit it?
Yeah, it's the actual PSD. We'll wait for it to open because there's so many layers.
Game changer.
Yeah, it's part of this.
I'll see you guys next week. I'm going to go into a hole on my computer of
And
looking at
there.
templates.
Oh man, like this though, again,
Whoa.
they kind of showed you a snapshot, but look at these gorgeous, and it's like watercolor, branches
Wow.
and leaves and different things that could be
Wow.
used. So shout out to whoever made this. And again, look at how many there's patterns over here.
Oh my god, I
pretty.
didn't even know that this was here.
I mean, look, I'm just so impressed with this, and I want to
Oh my god.
know
those
the
flowers.
artist. Look at that. I'm just really
So is this all free domain to use, or
Yeah.
how did the rights work?
And we'll just
on
double
this?
check. So this double call, see preview. So yes, by Pixel Buddha. Just want to shout out Pixel Buddha because this is you are awesome,
Yeah.
right? With
Totally.
2Ds. But yes, it is. It is a huge watercolor collection, free to use. And not only that, if you go back, there's templates here, but you can find more templates. Templates are just free assets to use. Just click go right there. You don't even have to
Amazing.
search anything. and I'll take you to the templates that you can kind of take advantage of. Right, so there are more out there, and depending on the app you're in, we'll serve up the appropriate
That's amazing.
graphics.
Yeah, great resource.
And you mentioned you'd like to incorporate more graphic elements.
Yeah.
Like you'll see that in here, like this texture geometric, real fast. Just take 2 seconds. But right in here, here's these geometric assets that you're like, oh, all I need to do, you already know. Your photo here, you know, dropping that in, skateboarder. Double click, you know, you get the idea. Oh. You see what I did there? I like always hold down the shift key when we don't have to anymore.
Yeah, thanks Photoshop. Definitely
Thanks,
messed with my head on that one.
Again, we were talking about this last night. That's how you're gonna know if you whether you hold down the shift key or not will determine like when you learn Photoshop.
Yeah.
Look at those cool.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Like just fun ways of doing things, even as you
Wow.
layer them onto one another. You get the idea.
Whoa.
So feel free.
That's really cool. I feel like that's a great way to learn things and dive into like new ideas and new projects.
Good point in terms of just like learning stuff, because like these are actually kind of flattened, but I think especially like in Illustrator, it'll really start to show how things are put together.
Totally.
Which is the fun part. Like, how did they make that?
Yeah.
These are files that'll kind of show that.
Yeah, and like even something you mentioned earlier, like looking at my files or at my PSD file and the way I did things, like I've learned so much just by looking at someone's file. I can say, oh, okay, so they put that there, they added that, and then they layer mask this, and all of a sudden it's like you learn so much just by the simple layers.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm glad we're able to kind of take a peek at this file and watch you work. Hopefully we'll get to do that next couple days, like just have you open up a PSD of a file and like, it could get messy. It's like letting you into your studio. There's going to be stuffed places. Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know, did I like have my underwear out and put that away? Like, what are my socks doing on the floor in my studio? I don't know.
Yeah,
I just have socks there.
Oh my, if my layer panel was a room, it would be dirty laundry, paint splattered everywhere, having cleaning days, old pizza boxes.
Cups and
Yeah, so my layers are pretty messy. That's something I'm slowly learning, though, to organize my layers.
Can I actually point out one thing, too, since we're talking about organizing layers, and we are wrapping up now, but I think this is really cool if we pull this out. One thing that I don't like is that, you know, everything is named layer 2 copy, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But two things I do down here in panel options is don't add copy. Can you guys see that? Let me move this over. Don't add copy to the just say, if you have leaves, just say, have a bunch of layers that say leaves. I don't need leaves copy 2, leaves copy 3, 4, 5. Annoying. And then watch, do you ever do layer bounds?
No.
Oh, check this out. So it might not matter that much here, but like, I don't know what's on this layer because it could just be like a little dot in the corner.
Right.
But if you do layer bounds, it'll actually show you.
So again, where it is.
It typically will show you the whole, you get the whole thumbnail. Like, it doesn't care where this is. It just shows you the pixels here and not the whole document with the pixels down in the corner.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm learning something too, you guys. This is cool.
Yeah, no, and that's why we do this. Like, I think we've learned a lot from chat as well.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
In terms of shortcuts and, like, keep those coming because I would like to talk about shortcuts. Like, if people modified or made their own. Yeah. Want to hear about all that stuff because, like, super sharp, really talented people here that...
Yeah, and I love hearing the suggestions for how to edit things and change things. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think sometimes you get really into a piece as you're working on it, you don't see things like we were talking about earlier. You know, you don't notice colors that are wrong or things that just haven't been properly blended. And I think seeing the chat is amazing because then you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter where you're at in your career, that always happens. Yeah. Like, it doesn't look right, but you're only getting better each time that happens. When it doesn't look right, it's like, oh, I'm going to learn something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Today, which is really cool. So hopefully everybody learned something new this morning.
Yeah.
I think. Anna, you are awesome. You've saved your file. That's looking great. We'll keep an eye out for you on the good old Instagram.
Yes.
Anna McNaught.
Yes.
In the house.
Woo! And
I want to hear about all your Instagram tips over the next couple days.
Oh, yeah. I definitely want to share that with you guys. And Feel free to DM me on Instagram too if you have questions or want any of the things we talked about today explained. I'm happy to help out. So
You're too sweet because, again, you have, what, over 100,000 followers, 109-ish. That's you just didn't happen upon that. I think that's through a lot of hard work and knowing a lot of things.
Definitely.
And we appreciate you just showing up and sharing it for free.
Yeah, of course.
You're too kind.
Of course. And I'm always happy to like answer questions. That's one thing I promise myself. I don't care how big I get, hopefully eventually, I'm always going to answer my DMs because I feel like having like you guys got me where I am, and without you I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
we're super happy that you're sitting here and
Yeah,
that you'll
me
be
too.
here for the next couple days too, which is super fun.
Yay!
So everybody, say thank you to Anna. Anna, we appreciate you. Next up, everybody, Andrew Segretti and Ashley Batts. All day long Photoshop.
Yes.
Hang out with us, everybody. See ya.
All right, bye.